Hey, Shalom Akim. First and foremost, give all praise and glory unto Yahweh, Bashim Yahushai, Bashim Rachakadash, the honors under the elders Apostle Great Millstone, the elders Great Millstone, and of course, peace and blessings under the hopeful elect, the sincere servants of Yahweh, Bashim Yahushai, serving him in truth and sincerity. Yes, I'm the brother Chayaber from GMS Plain Tables Camp. Come back with another lesson to his spirit. So the point of this lesson is that Yahushai did not leave the elect guessing. He gave signs that come before the end of this man's rulership. And who's that man? We know that man. He's a proud man, as Habakkuk chapter 2 and 5 says. That's Esau Edom, so-called white man. We know Esau is the end of the world and Jacob is the beginning of it that follows. So right now, Esau is in rulership. And one of the signs of the end of this man's rulership is earthquakes in diverse places. So very recently we had another Japan earthquake, and this after the previous earthquakes that happened before that one, especially the Venezuela one. Second Ezra tells us exactly what to do when we see these things happening in the earth, which is to measure the time diligently. So let's read it. It says Matthew chapter 24 and 3. And as he sat upon the Mount of Olives, the disciples came unto him privately, saying, Tell us, when shall these things be, and what shall be the sign of thy coming, and of the end of the world? So we see Yahushai is about to speak, and how the disciples came unto him privately. So two things that they asked, saying, When shall these things be, and what shall be the sign of thy coming, and of the end of the world? Now let's see what the end of the world means, because it is important to understand that. Getting the Greek word for world, it's aeon, it's eon. Eon or ion. Ion. So when you get that definition, it means period of time, age. So a period of rulership. That's what Yahushua was referring to. So they weren't asking when the planet was going to blow up. It's because the scriptures say how the earth abideth on its foundation forever. So, I mean, they knew that the world was going to blow up, because that's a common thing today. The whole world, the planet's going to blow up. And no, they were asking when this man's rulership is finished. So that's why the answer that Yahushua is about to give are a list of signs and not a date. So the scripture proves that everything he says next is an answer to a question about his coming and of the end of a rulership. So this is what Yahushua is about to answer. Matthew 24 and 4. And Yahushua answered and said unto them, Take heed that no man deceive you, for many shall come in my name, saying, I am a Mashiach, and shall deceive many. And ye shall hear of wars and rumors of wars. See that ye be not troubled, for all these things must come to pass, but the end is not yet. For nation shall rise against nation, and kingdom against kingdom, and there shall be famines and pestilences and earthquakes in divers places. All these are the beginning of sorrows. So it says nation against nation. So these aren't only going to be foreign wars. Well, it goes all the way back to Rebekah's womb, which is Esau and Jacob fighting before they were born. And it's playing right here in Babylon the Great, as Esau and Jacob predominantly are in this land. It also says earthquakes. When you get that word for earthquakes within the Greek word is seismos, meaning a shaking, a commotion. This is where you get seismology and seismograph from. So the point is that one earthquake by itself is not the whole prophecy. But Yahushua is giving a collection of signs. So that's why he closed it with, all these are the beginning of sorrows. So we don't read one event by itself. No, we read it against the whole pattern that Yao Shai laid out. Visual wars, rumors of wars, nation against nation, kingdom against kingdom, famines, pestilences, earthquakes. So that's how we read that's how Yao Shai told us to read it. So read it the same way, and we see all of this happening currently. So we know how we are at the end. So get this article. It's from AP News.com. It says rescuers search for survivors after a 7.1 quake kills 18 in southwestern Japan. So magnitude 7.1 earthquake. Kumamoto, southern Japan. It says soldiers and emergency workers combed through a badly damaged shopping mall and collapsed houses looking for trapped survivors Wednesday after a powerful earthquake that killed at least 18 people, including a foreigner, in southwestern Japan. The magnitude 7.1 earthquake that hit a day earlier in the Kumamoto area on the southern main island of Kyushu also left at least 62 people injured, six of them seriously, the prefectural government said. The tally has been steadily growing, fanning fears it may continue to rise. Some of the most serious damage was at the Aeon Mall shopping center in town of Kishima, which was bustling with thousands of people when the quake happened. The company said some 3,000 customers were evacuated to a parking lot before a gas explosion happened in another part of the mall, where some people were still working. So this connects to the scripture because Yao Shai named earthquakes in diverse places as one of the signs. In diverse places means different places, various places. So Japan is clearly a different place. And if we notice the name of the mall, it's Aeon. So if you go back enough and do some research on this mall, it was formerly Jusco Co. back in or before 1989. It was renamed Aeon. So after 1989, they renamed themselves Aeon. So off from the Greek word aeon, which means eternity. But that's also the same word that's used to describe a period of time or age. So that's the same word that was used in Matthew chapter 24 and 3. End of the world. World being aeon, meaning age or period of time. So that's a spirit. They named themselves after a period of time that ends, and the building came down in it. So to mention, the article doesn't establish a prophecy. The prophecy is written long before this article existed. The report is a witness that the condition he foretold is present. So right now the people killed is 18. It might be higher by the time you hear this lesson. So look at 2 Ezra chapter 9 and 1. He answered me then and said, measure thou the time diligently in itself, and when thou seest part of the signs past, which I have told thee before, then shalt thou understand that it is the very same time, wherein the highest will begin to visit the world, which he made. Therefore, when there should be seen earthquakes and upwards of the people in the world, then shalt thou well understand that the Most High spake all those things from the days that were before thee, even from the beginning. So what does diligently mean? Let's get it. It says with careful, steady, attentive effort, thoroughly and with close regard for accuracy or detail. So we don't leave any stone unturned. We're constantly checking and rechecking what's taking place in the earth. It says, and when thou seest part of the signs past. So it's part, not all. So one event is part of a larger collection. Verse 2, it says, then shalt thou understand that it is the very same time wherein the highest will begin to visit the world which he made. So the highest is Yahweh and his son Yahushai. Verse 3, it said, therefore, when there should be seen earthquakes and uproars of the people in the world. So it names earthquakes specifically. And puts uproars of the people right next to it. So it's not only the ground shaking, it's the people shaking as well. 2 Ezra 9:4. Then shalt thou well understand that the Most High spake of those things from the days that are before thee, even from the beginning. So spoken before it ever showed up in a headline. It's like investing. They tell you to invest before the news reports on it. So we've been made that investment. And we know. So Matthew 24 gives us the signs. 2 Ezra 9 tells us how to read the signs. So how do we measure the time? There are scriptures that are written, prophecies, and then there are the things that are happening, playing out in the earth. So when we see what's written playing out in front of us, then that's how we know how close we are. And the scriptures are the gauge, not the news cycle. So it says Acts 1:6, when they therefore were come together, they asked of him, saying, Lord, wilt thou at this time restore again the kingdom to Israel? Verse 7, and he said unto them, it is not for you to know the times or the seasons, which the Father hath put in his own power. So it is not for you to know the times or the seasons. That's why he gave us signs. He left us breadcrumbs. The Lord didn't leave us without anything. So we don't know the exact day, but we have a time frame because the prophecies are coming to pass. So we know that we are very close to the coming of Yahushai. So the point for us, hopeful elect, is what the world sees a headline, they get sad or feel bad for a day, and they scroll to the next headline. But the elect are told to do something different. What we're told to measure the time diligently with the scripture as a tool. And what Yahushua said to look up when these things happen. But these people have their head buried in the news and they stay in that distress with perplexity because they don't understand what's going on. It says Luke 14:23, and the Lord said unto the servant, go out into the highways and hedges and compel them to come in, that my house may be filled. So this is a message that we take out when we go out there on the highways and the byways. This is what we bring when we go out there because it's what compels the people to come in. So we constantly have to remain diligent in these things, knowing that we are at the end and where the highest is about to visit the world which he made. So we know that these earthquakes are part of the signs, the times that we are in. So we don't blow this up as if the climax of War 3 will happen tomorrow. But we know that we are that much closer for the return of Yahushai. So what the disciples asked for the sign of his coming and of the end of his rulership. And Yahushua answered with a pattern of signs that include earthquakes in diverse places. Japan is a present example of that sign. And it's one part of the pattern, not the whole thing. 2 Ezra 9 tells the elect to measure the time diligently, because the Most High spake all those things from the beginning. So the earthquake is not the foundation of this lesson. The scriptures are the foundation. The earthquake is a witness that tells you why you had better be measuring the time. So those are you brothers out there edified. Yahweh Ba'ashim Yahushai B'Shmakakodash Brakatham. Shalom.